Hey, Lifefire family, welcome back. If you don't know who I am, my name is Coach Joseph Peoples. I'm a transformational coach and have been for about 5 years now. So, today we're going to talk about the reason and the truth about why you don't believe yourself yet. If you've been going through this series of videos with me, there's two more before this, and go back and watch those videos because they will help you understand tremendously what we're talking about here today. Okay. So, again, this video is the truth about why you don't believe yourself yet. And we're talking about identity and becoming a new identity versus the old one. Now, what does that really mean? That means we're shifting our beliefs. That's really all that it is, okay? So, welcome to week 3 of the identity reset model. In week 1, we mapped the loop. You learned how identity drives behavior and how patterns repeat. In week 2, we did a language audit. So, we learned how words reinforce the identity that we are currently stuck in or that you're currently stuck in. I use the word we because I like to include everybody because as I do this work myself, even though I've done it, it really helps me to feel like I'm reinforcing the new identity that I have installed. And that will help you in the future too. I recommend you guys do that. Now, week 3 is where things start to get very, very real because this is where we stop installing hope and we start proving. Okay. So this week is all about proof. This week is for you. If you've ever said, I know what to do, I just don't believe I can do it. It's for you if you've said things like, I can't stay consistent, I always fail, I want to change, but I don't trust that I can. Today we fix that because your brain does not believe what you want. Your brain believes what you proved. Okay. So today you're going to learn how to build evidence so strong your nervous system cannot argue with it. Okay. Together, we're going to create what I call the proof portfolio. I mean, I've already created it, but we're going to create yours, or you're going to create yours to even be more clear. And what that is, it's a three-step structured collection of receipts that supports who you're becoming. So this is like your new identity becomes believable because after this video, provided you do the work, you're going to have the evidence that you need to reinforce it. Okay. So identity isn't built by motivation at all. Identity is not built by what you wish for or hope for. It's not built by hype, motivation, or emotion. It's built by what you prove repeatedly. Okay. Your brain changes when your behavior gives it new data. Your nervous system, believe it or not, is not emotional. It is not inspirational, and it's not here for fantasies. It's here for evidence. So if you've spent years collecting what I call negative proof, things like I quit, I mess up and I don't recover, I procrastinate, I don't follow through. If you've spent years collecting that kind of proof, then of course your brain doesn't believe you when you say, this is my new identity. Okay. And it's not that you're weak, it's not that you're broken, it's not that you're unmotivated. It's that your evidence file doesn't match the identity that you're trying to install, and that's okay. Your brain is always going to trust what it has seen more than what you say. Today, we're going to flip that. Okay. So today, you start building proof toward your future self and not your past self. Now, there is a evidence problem, and that problem is that your brain is like a courtroom in a sense. Okay. So here's where it becomes a little bit challenging for many people. Most people will try to create a new identity using statements or affirmations and not evidence. Okay. People will say things like, I'm disciplined, I'm confident, I'm healthy, I'm consistent now. But the brain will respond with, based on what? Because the brain acts as a courtroom, your past is the witness, your patterns are the testimony, and your behavior is the evidence. So if you tell your brain, I'm a new person now, but the courtroom only has evidence from your past, your brain will treat your new identity like a lie. Not because you don't want it to, but because you haven't proven it yet. And that's why the proof portfolio is so important. Now, this week, you will correct the evidence problem. Why doesn't your brain believe you yet? Let me break this down real quick. Your nervous system is wired for pattern recognition, not promises. Now, if you are familiar with Tony Robbins, he's talked about patterns for years. He's talked about being able to recognize patterns, being able to utilize patterns, and even creating patterns. And that's been a big part of his success and those that he's taught over the many decades that he's been around. So, your nervous system is wired for pattern recognition, not for promises. Your brain doesn't know the difference between fiction and nonfiction. It really doesn't. So every attempt you've ever made to change your life, whether it be a relapse or every time you stopped doing something that you wanted to finish, or every time you failed at something that you wanted to succeed at, your brain filed those as receipts. And it didn't do that to hurt you. It didn't do that to hold you back. It does that because your brain is trying to keep you safe using the most predictable data available. Okay. So when you try to step into a new identity, your brain will say things like, we've tried this before. We know how this ends. Don't get your hopes up. This isn't safe. I've tried everything. And it's okay. You're not broken. Your evidence is outdated. And that's one of the things that we fixed this week. We upgrade your data. Okay. So what does count as evidence? Well, evidence does not have to be dramatic at all. Okay. In fact, the most powerful evidence is microproof, small, tiny actions. Okay. Small behaviors repeated consistently. Now, evidence is anything real, observable, and undeniable. Now, you guys might see me going or during this video. I've been battling with COVID since December 19th, and that's undeniable. That's real. There's evidence of that, right? So, while I don't really want to get into that, the thing is, what am I doing to recover from that? Well, I'm resting, I'm taking the medication, I'm doing all that stuff, right? All these little things that add up to getting me back to a healthier state. Okay. So let's go through some examples of evidence other than that one. A completed micro action. What is that? That could be 5 minutes of jogging or walking around the block or whatever it may be. It could be 5 minutes of making extra phone calls. It could be a journal entry. It could be eating something healthier, drinking soda instead of water, realizing you didn't repeat an old pattern, pausing in an argument before you react and actually take a step back and come back with a sensible response. Okay. So anything and everything counts as long as it's something that helps. Okay. So here's the rule I want you to keep in mind. If it happened and it moves you toward the identity you want, it is evidence. Let me say that again. If it happened and it moves you toward the identity you want, it is evidence. Okay. Your new identity becomes real when the evidence becomes undeniable. So collect that undeniable evidence. Now let's talk about the proof portfolio, your identity receipts. Okay. Again, this is a structured three-part system, and it begins with number one, past proof, the proof you have forgotten, moments you succeeded but dismissed. What does that look like? Well, maybe you won a spelling bee in the fifth grade, right? Maybe you completed I don't know, a race in high school or something. Anything throughout your life counts. Okay. So, what are some other examples? Well, times when you've overcome something difficult. Maybe you passed a test you didn't think you were going to pass. Moments you have shown strength, emotionally, physically, psychologically, whatever it may be. Times you've helped people, things you've built, promises you've followed through on. Any past wins and past transformations count here. So apply them, okay? Your brain actually has something called selective amnesia. So what that means is for some of you, your brain only remembers failures because that's been the pattern for so long. And so now we have to change that pattern. And when the brain hears that, red flags go up and says, this isn't safe. Well, you have to prove that it's safe. Okay. So we're going to correct that way of thinking. Step two in this three-part process is present proof, evidence you create daily through small actions. So what's a small action? Showing up today, watching this video, completing one micro action. So again, that could be a 5 minute walk. It could be a 5 minute run. It could be 5 minutes of journaling, a healthier meal, drinking water instead of soda, taking one step instead of 10 steps. Anything that moves you forward toward the new identity counts. Okay. And step three is your future proof. That's your evidence schedule. Okay. So this is not hoping for future success. This is not fake it until you make it. This is not positive affirmations. This is literally pre-planning proof. Okay. Nobody plans to fail, but many fail to plan. So this is a very important step. Okay. So pre-planning proof looks like what? Well, scheduled workouts, scheduled check-ins with me, or if you have an accountability partner, scheduled uncomfortable actions. That could go right back to working out or having a difficult conversation, learning something new, anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Maybe if you're an anxious person and being around crowds bothers you, go spend a minute or two around a large crowd. And when you feel that intensity, like you have to leave, stay for another 1 minute and see what happens. Okay. Or maybe 30 seconds. Okay. Scheduled self-care, scheduled conversations. Here's why this is so vitally important. Future proof tells your brain this identity is not an accident. This identity is intentional. So it could be that if you're a person in sales and you make 20 phone calls a day, your micro action is, well, today I'm going to figure out how to do 23 calls a day or 25. Okay. I'm going to have multiple conversations on top of the ones I already have somehow. And you kind of figure out how that is, but you do it in a way that it's not going to overwhelm you, but you can prove to yourself that you can get it done. Okay. So your proof portfolio is what makes your new identity undeniable. Now, I will do a separate video, but since I have the time today, I'm going to go ahead and take you guys through the live walkthrough of building your proof portfolio. So I don't have that on my screen right now, but I will put it as a downloadable document in the comments. And so let's go through through the exercise step by step. And you can do this on paper or in your notes or again in the worksheet that I'll attach here to the video. Section one is past proof. Okay. So you're going to write down 10 memories where you showed discipline, strength, resilience, growth, love, courage, responsibility, and or leadership. Okay? And here are the prompts that you can use for that. A time I kept going even though it was hard was, and then you fill in the blank. A challenge I overcame was, again, you fill in the blank. A moment I was proud of myself was, a time I didn't quit was. Your past always had proof. You just forgot where you put it, but it's always been there and it's always accessible. Okay. One of the things I mentioned Tony Robbins earlier, and one of the things that has always stuck in my mind is he said, you feel what you focus on, and the only meaning in life is the meaning that you give it. Okay. I probably said that wrong. I think I did. The only meaning anything has in life is the meaning that you give it. That's what it was. Okay. So create things that are going to move you forward that have positive meanings, not positive affirmations, but meanings that make you feel good and push you forward. Okay. Now, step two is going to be present proof. Write down 5 micro actions you completed today, no matter how small. One would be showing up to this lesson. Two could be you made your bed. Three could be you took a walk. Four could be I didn't repeat an old pattern. Five could be I drank water instead of soda. Whatever is unique to you, whatever your 5 micro actions were, write them down because those are not only micro actions, but they're wins. Okay. Anytime you complete these 5 micro actions, you're creating 5 wins and you're collecting 5 pieces of evidence that you can stack that proves your new identity to yourself and your brain. And that reinforces it. Okay. These small actions add up because identity is built one receipt at a time. Okay. Now imagine, we've always said every penny adds up, right? Every penny adds up to $1. So if you get 100 pennies, you get $1, right? So I want you to think of it like that. It doesn't have to be huge. A small micro action. If you get 5 today and you only recognize 5, that's great. There's probably more than 5, but focus on the 5 that move you forward in the most effective way. Okay. So step three is your future proof. You're going to write down 5 actions you will commit to in the next 48 hours. They should be very small, very specific, and scheduled. So what does that look like? It could be a 10-minute walk at 8 in the morning. It could be a 5-minute nighttime reflection of your day. It could be 15 minutes cleaning some space in your house, your apartment, or wherever you live, even your car. It could be having a planned act of courage, meaning like you're going to go up and talk to somebody who you've been afraid to talk to, have that uncomfortable conversation with, because maybe you want to repair a friendship or whatever it may be. Okay. Again, whatever is unique to you, write down the 5 actions that you will commit to in the next 48 hours. Okay. And remember, the point here is not perfection. We're not trying to be perfect. The point is to do this continuously. And that's a core requirement for this to work. Okay. The final step, and this is a bonus step, is the identity step. Okay. So now that you've built the evidence, I want you to complete this sentence. Okay. Based on my evidence, I am becoming someone who. Now, I'll say that again. Based on my evidence, I am becoming someone who. Now, after you've filled in the blank, say this out loud. Read it out loud, say it out loud. And excuse me, my recommendation is that you do this for 63 days because 63 days is the scientifically proven amount of time it takes for complete transformation. Okay. To install a new habit, to install a new identity. And 63 days may seem like a lot. I promise you it isn't. It's like 2 months and 3 days, which goes by so fast. I mean, I blinked and 2025 was gone, and here we are in 2026. So say it out loud, mean it when you say it out loud, not as a wish, but as a verdict. Okay. Like you are the judge and the jury, and this is the verdict. Okay. Be strong with it, believe it. Your identity is no longer a dream, it's a proven reality. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the video. And I want you to remember that this week you shift from motivation, from hope, to collecting evidence, collecting proof, from hoping to documenting, okay? From trying to convince yourself and to actually show yourself that you can do this. Your brain believes what you repeatedly prove. So here's your challenge for this week. Every day this week, collect 1 piece of past proof, 1 piece of present proof, 1 piece of future proof. Provided you do that, by the end of the week, you'll have 21 undeniable receipts supporting your new identity. Once your brain has the evidence, your life and your brain will have no choice but to transform. And remember this: true lasting transformation starts internally and it increases your external outcomes. Okay. This is the proof you need. And this is where the new you becomes believable. So take this week and build it. Build that proof, build that evidence, stack it, stack it, stack it. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.